It is a misty, moisty December morning here in North Idaho. We've had snow on the ground for the past few days, but it looks like it's given way to rain. That's just fine with me. It's a little bit early in the year to have full-on winter wonderland. We'll have plenty of time over the next few months to avail ourselves of wintry landscapes. I've decided to take a walk down to Hayden Lake this morning, see what the morning looks like over the lake. Thanks for joining me on this walk. While we walk, let's talk about anxiety. A friend of mine recently asked me if I have anxiety, and my immediate reaction was laughter. I laughed not out of derision or contempt nor callousness for his question, but perhaps at the absurdity of human existential angst. Prior to that, several months previous, another friend had asked me, have I ever met anybody who didn't have angst or anxiety? And the answer is no. Unfortunately, anxiety is a fundamental part of the human experience. Unless you are truly delusional or dim-witted or completely insensate, you're going to experience a certain measure of anxiety in your life. That's a given. Perhaps my biggest challenge in regard to my own anxiety is not that I have anxiety, but that I have so much coming at me all the time. And I will concede that this is a self-imposed torture. Unless you live on the top of some idyllic mountain, herding goats and living a quiet pastoral lifestyle, you have a lot of things going on in your life. Our society, modern society, is a fast, frenetic pace, and a lot of things come at us all the time. When we try to deal with them all at once, sometimes it seems an impossible task to sort it all out. Sometimes we find ourselves in utter despair, wondering how we're going to get out of a certain circumstance, when in reality, if we eat the elephant one bite at a time, we often find that the puzzle wasn't really that difficult to solve. It was that we were trying to solve all of our issues simultaneously, and usually at the wrong time. For me, it's right before bed, and that's the time to turn off your brain, not to ruminate on the things in life which trouble us. Know that the advice I give you is the same advice I give myself. We are going to have to accept the reality that anxiety is a part of our human experience. I suppose the practical question we can ask ourselves is, what can we do to mitigate and minimize the negative effects that anxiety has on our mental and emotional well-being? And there are a number of things that we can do. How does the saying go? A man who lives in sadness is living in the past. A man who is living in worry is living in the future. And a man who is calm is living in the present. Well, those are very encouraging words, you might think. Alas, they do very little to allay my inordinate amount of anxiety. Fair enough. Let's discuss some very practical and effective ways that we can address some of our anxiety and minimize it significantly. My first suggestion is reduce, if not eliminate completely, your exposure to news and social media. Yes, I said that. I know that it's easier said than done. I give you the same advice that I give myself. If you can't eliminate it completely, at least reduce your exposure to it. Most of the content of today's news and social media is negative and toxic. How can you infect yourself with this inordinate amount of exposure to such truly negative material, not have some kind of deleterious effect on your psyche, on your mental well-being, and on your happiness? If you find yourself laying awake at night, troubled by some event in some foreign land, it's time to switch the channel. It really is. Resist the temptation to alleviate your anxiety with drugs or alcohol, and this includes pharmaceuticals. These are a temporary and toxic solution to an organic issue that needs to be engaged in a holistic sort of way. Drugs and alcohol, chemicals, this is not the right way to address your anxiety, and you know it. One of the very concrete steps that we can take to address the anxiety in our life is to pay better attention to our health. I know that sounds cliche, but it's truthful. Watch what you eat. Don't engage in comfort eating. I know it's tempting. I know that sometimes when we're overwhelmed with anxiety, it's easy to overeat or eat the wrong foods. It's a temporary relief, but it's temporary, and in the long run, we pay for it. Get a little exercise. I know you don't want to hear it, but you know it's true. For me, especially when I'm feeling burdened by work-related stress in particular, there's nothing like a nice walk to kind of take the edge off. No matter what your condition is, you can get some exercise. You can find a way. Everybody can find a way. Often as I'm walking from my house down to this lake, I pass a gentleman who resides in a nearby assisted living home, and he has had both his feet amputated due to diabetes. And I see him outside in his wheelchair almost regardless of the weather, unless it's, pouring rain. He's out there and he's wheeling around, getting exercise, enjoying his day with a big smile on his face. Wherever you are, whatever your situation is, try to get some exercise. It'll make you feel better. Much of what troubles us in life is often predicated upon hypothetical scenarios that we play out in our own imaginations, projecting worries of future scenarios and troubles that we might encounter. Life is complex enough as it is without entertaining this kind of hypothetical. Relax. Don't take life so seriously. I mean it. Don't take it so seriously. Try to see it more as a game. When you start seeing life is a game, as a transient story that we're living out on some surreal cosmic stage. It makes it more satisfying, and it makes our troubles less troubling. Anxiety is a liar. Worrying does not empty our day of its sorrows. It solves no problems. It only drains us of our strength and our positivity. Resist it, fight back. You're not always going to have good days, and I can't promise that. In fact, it's inevitable that some days are going to be bad, some days are going to be sad. But know this, it's not all darkness. There's a lot of beauty in this world waiting to be discovered. Get outside, take a walk, explore your area, go make a new friend, go smile at somebody and brighten their day. Be the kind of happiness and positivity that you want to see in this world. Be an agent for goodness and morality and kindness. Know that whoever you are, there's beauty in you. There is. You're a beautiful person, whoever you are. Well, the rain's starting to pick up. I better hightail it for home before I get my hair wet. Know this, my dear friend, wherever you are, whoever you are, I bid you sincere peace, and I hope that you find happiness and satisfaction in your life. Sometimes when I find myself lying awake at night, restless, unsleeping, vexed by some issue that has troubled my day and my life, I ask myself, in a year's time, will this really matter? In 10 years' time, what will be the consequence of this in my life? In 100 years' time, when I am gone and my memory has faded, will it matter? And the answer is probably not. So switch it off and go to sleep. Be troubled no more.